Hi, my name's Grant Ross from Carrfields Livestock. I'm here with Murray and Fiona Gemmell on their property in Martry, and also the home of the Wairere King. So Murray, tell us a little bit about your operation here in the Martry Valley.
Okay, 1988, we after 15 odd years shearing and contracting, we bought this first property. We've since bought a couple of the neighbours' ones next door, so we're farming effective area around 650 hectares at the moment. Sheep, beef, bulls do probably 30% of our operation is trading, and obviously the Wairere King operations incorporated in that. We've also got 1,500 acres at Waimea, which is a lease property, and a farm at Owakino, which has since been sold, and we've leased it back off the owners. Yeah.
So what inspired you to go with the Wairere?
Long story really. 88, got some bad advice on where to buy our rams. The places we've bought were reasonably run down. Huge amount of money spent on development, and we were struggling along at 85% lambing and digging a hole that we weren't going to get out of. So I actually read an article Derek Daniels had written about sheep genetics, so I ended up writing him a 5-page letter telling him about our predicament and his suggestions, what he thought we could do. And one day he just turned up on my doorstep, and I'll never forget this really, because we were in a pretty financially dire situation, and he lent us some rams and 250 wet dry ewes, and I said, look, there's no way I can buy these. And he said, just use them, see what difference it makes, put them in the Ongari sale and send me the cheque. So we mated them separately with his rams, scanned them separately. Doc obviously lambed them down separately. Ours did 85%, his did 135. So that was the start of getting out of this hole.
Yep.
So we went to Rotorua and we bought a line of Wairere bred ewes from Tumanui Station, which had converted to dairy. Sold all our ewes, bought Wairere bred ewes, 15 years of breeding in those ewes, and went from 85% lambing to 135 in 12 months. And that kick-started our development program and purchasing the extra properties. That's all it took, was just really saved us, yeah.
Yep.
So following on from that, Derek approached us about getting involved in a joint venture, selling rams, which we threw around. Fiona and I discussed. It was out of our comfort zone, obviously, so we decided to do it, have a go, and here we are 22 years later, still going.
So the Wairere King, you've obviously taken traits out of the Wairere system itself. What makes Wairere King different? What are you trying to achieve?
Point of difference, the strength of the business is Wairere, obviously. It's all Wairere genetics. We inherited a flock of stud ewes when we signed up for the joint venture, which has now been farmed at White Rock Station out from Martinborough on the coast. So that's our Romney base. We've since added, 7 years ago, we've added a FE flock to our operation. Just looking at the changes in the market, and the incidence of FE is becoming more pronounced, even in non-FE areas. So Derek and I and the team at Wairere we took 1,000 recorded ewes, Romney ewes, and we went out and bought high FE tolerance rams from other studs and created this FE flock, which we're now testing at 0.5. Yeah. So that's been probably 30% of the rams we sell now are FE tolerant rams. We've got a guy working for us up north, Warren Jones, north of Auckland. That's probably our biggest area at the moment for the FE rams. So yeah, it's quite a complex arrangement with shear farmers. The FE flocks shear farmed at Katie and Sully Alsop's property just out of Masterton. So we've got these two shear farmers farming our sheep. We go down there at weaning, normally December, uplift the rams, which are all twin ram lambs, bring them back here and put them into our system here, farm them for 12 months and sell them as tutus.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So obviously we adhere to all the protocols that Wairere have put down for us, like we're only selecting ewe hoggets that scan and lamb, only keeping tudus that have twins right through. Anything that has a single is culled. So all of these protocols that Wairere set up over the last 40 odd years, we have to adhere to that too. Probably the difference between us and Wairere, we probably farm them a bit harder. On our hills are steeper, harder hill country. What are we now? Early July, they've had 3 drenches this year, plus their quarantine drench. And we started with 1,000, I think we're down to 578 now. So we bring them in every month, have a look at them. Anything that hasn't hacked it with the poor feeding and lack of drench,
Yep.
they go west. So we end up in November with 450 odd pretty hardy sort of sheep. The FE rams are all fully sill recorded. Our Romney ones are performance recorded.
So obviously someone coming in to buy rams off you, sustainability, survivability and percentages, and also weaning weights.
We did a survey probably 10 years ago, a client survey, and we listed all of the main traits that the performance indexes that a sheep exhibits, and we asked our clients to list the ones that were the most important to them. Constitution was the top by a long way.
Yep.
Okay, we know they're all twins. We know the history of Wairere. We know the high performance as far as fertility goes, wool production, eye muscle. We do a lot of our culling is on eye muscle, meat. What we didn't really know was how's this constitution going to handle these hills.
Yep.
And look, it's been fine, and that's what farmers want. They want a sheep that'll last. It'll take a hit in the winter, in a drought, and it'll bounce back again, you know. So that's, and for me as a commercial farmer, constitution's really important. Yeah.
Plays a massive part.
Yeah, absolutely. Not forgetting, obviously, people, when they're talking about how good sheep are, the first thing they go, oh, yeah, what's your percentage, you know? That's just one part of it.
Yeah.
You need to be able to get a good performance on these hills, and also you need to be able to wean those lambs and fatten them. It's pointless breeding sheep that you can't fatten the lambs. Yeah.
You've mentioned that a few times in our conversations along the line of you don't need a terminal sire.
Yeah, that's a big call. Obviously, it's like Romneys and terminal sires, but we are, like, there's a trend with our clients who have been using terminal sires over their older ewes or cull ewes, their beef flock. A lot of them now, and this isn't just marketing, a lot of them are actually going, we don't need these terminal sires. The whiteface, the Wairere King rams are providing us with lambs that are competing on a meat basis, and by getting rid of their terminal sires, their selection for the ewe lambs obviously goes up because they're all going to a whiteface ram. Breeding rams, I believe, it's just a numbers game. Simple as the more the pressure you put on them, the more you got to cull, the better the end result you're going to sell to the client. Yeah,
correct.
So that's, to me, you know, if I got out of this, I believe you've got to be going to a stud with a big number of sheep, you know. And Wairere, the latest figures I saw, there's 25,000 odd recorded ewes there, or recorded, and they do have a percentage of unrecorded ewes. So that's a huge amount of sheep. The average last 5 years, our average culling rate's been 80% of the male lambs born. Yeah, that's between us and Wairere. So 20% of the male lambs being born, that includes the singles. Remember, we only select twins.
Yes.
20% of them are being put up for sale. So there's a huge 80% are being culled. Yeah. So that the end result is that the client's getting a very good sheep.
So I suppose one of the questions that people always want to know, and where do we start? What's your pricings?
Yeah, we run a system where first in, like if you've been coming here for 20 years or 22 years, you've got first pick. We have 3 price groups, $1,200. Well, we actually added a $1,200 price group last year, $1,000, $750 and $550. There is a perception that coming to Wairere King, you can't get into that top group. But we always end up at the end of the year after our culling, we normally have 350 to 400 rams available. And the ones in the top group are there because they perform the best in our environment. So, yeah, you don't know until you ring. But most years we are oversubscribed in that top group. But you just drop down into that next $1,000 group and you're away. We still sell rams at $550, not many, but we got some guys performing really well who've been buying $550 rams for the last 20 years. But I guess there is, that if you go to an auction, you can bid and you can have a crack at those top sheep. But I like to reward loyalty, and that's why we stick with what we're doing. Yeah.
Where to from here for Wairere King?
Obviously, we've just taken on this new share farmer in the FE flock, so we're going through some initiation processes and that, and they're really capable people, good feeders, and it's really, really interesting that they're buying into this whole Wairere King and Wairere concept with the sheep, and obviously the full recording, that's a big step for us. 12 months ago, Fiona and I sat down and just threw some ideas around where our strengths and weaknesses were, and one of the weaknesses was we just weren't promoting our business, our Wairere King businesses. We do the advertising, but we should be visiting clients, should be following up, but with 15,000 stock units and spread pretty thin on the ground, I just wasn't getting there. So hence, Carrfields were invited to join us, get involved in the operation, cover off the marketing and sales side of it, and visit clients, give us good honest feedback. We're really looking forward to that operation, with working with Carrfields and building from there, because it's just a breath of fresh air coming in. And I think at the moment that's really our strong point, is really just growing the joint venture with Carrfields. Yeah, it's opened up more doors. This is obviously part of a series we're going to do. This is all good. So yeah, that's, I think, as far as your question goes, where to from now, at the moment that's it. Yeah, growing this business relationship with Carrfields. Yeah, the sheep obviously are evolving all the time. We're getting better at doing things. We're getting better at presenting these sheep. Okay, it's all very well not drenching them and not feeding them. You've still got to present them reasonably well. Something we haven't been really good at. So yeah, we're looking at taking a finger off the trigger earlier, as far as putting them under these harsh conditions and getting them through to sort of 85, 90 kilos in early December when we sell. So that's another thing that we're concentrating on. But we've got to do that as well as keep the pressure on them so we can identify the ones that aren't handling it. Yeah.
So when do most of your open gate policy start?
Doors open 12 months a year. 12 months whenever. We don't hide anything. We have guys come in during the winter. I take them up. The big thing is I show them our hoggets, our ewes, because that's what you're going to end up with. And we know the underlying performance is there. They're a good modern sheep. We've got the backing of Wairere, obviously, with the 40 odd years or longer genetics. So yeah, just any time. And I encourage people to come onto the farm and have a look at our whole operation. And as I say, look at the hoggets and the ewes, because that's what you're going to end up with. Look, a lot of our clients are outperforming us as far as percentage and lamb weights and that go, because we're on pretty tough country, and Wairere King is just one part of it. So it's good to have that feedback from clients. We'd just be an average performer. We try to end up with 135% to sale, but we're mating like 58, 60 kilo ewes. The guys that are feeding them better, we've got guys doing 160% and finishing all their lambs. I was just talking to a client the other day, he's averaged $160 this year. 4 years ago, that guy wasn't using our sheep, never finished a lamb. So that's a huge success story. Yeah.
Well, thanks for your time today, Murray. And just to touch base on the Wairere King itself going forward, we're going to show a few more of these clips as we go forward, Carrfields' involvement as well. And we'll catch you on a few of those clips.